Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. And in today's video, we'll be going through this blog, How Developers Destroy Brain Health. This blog literally pointed out all of the bad habits that we developers follow. It was pretty interesting. Let's go through it. The first one is the marathon coding sessions. For many developers, working marathon coding sessions or pulling an all-nighter is almost a badge of honor. It definitely is, right? Sometimes we figure out a solution to the problem and we want to code that up as soon as possible, right? So what we do on a Tuesday night, 10 p.m., we just pull an all-nighter, but that comes at the expense of our health. The rush of adrenaline can make long hours of coding seem productive, but this forms one of the most destructive habits for the brain health. Could not disagree. So extended periods of focused work is definitely going to, disrupt the natural rhythm of brain. Say, for example, you sleep at 9 p.m. someday, and then you sleep at 11 p.m. someday, and then some days you sleep at 5 a.m., which usually, we developers do, right? That is definitely going to disrupt the rhythm of the brain. So the brain, like any other muscle, needs rest and time to recover, right? This is a good point. Say, for example, you go and you work out, you stress your muscles, and then you need to give some time for the muscles to recover, right? Your brain at the end of the day is a muscle. You cannot just keep putting stress on it and expect it to grow, right? So as developers, these coding marathons really take a toll on our health, and we have to take some actions. Sleep deprivation was established to lead to cognitive decline and condition of inattention and influences decision-making capabilities. So when you don't sleep well, you are pretty aware that you won't be able to concentrate much on whatever thing you do. So coding requires a lot of concentration, and when you don't sleep, when you are deprived of sleep, you tend to not focus, and it leads to cognitive decline in the long run. So, though these long coding marathon sessions seem productive, in the long run, this is not at all productive. So, what's the recipe? How can we overcome this? So, we have something called as the Pomodoro technique, right? So, it's like a 25 minutes you focus on something and then you rest for 5, and then the next session, 25 minutes of focused work and you rest for 5. So, you do this for 4 cycles and then you rest for, say, half an hour or 1 hour. So you might disagree, telling that when I sit and start coding, I need to spend 4 hours of focused work in order to get something done, or I lose context, right? That's completely acceptable. But the point here is you need to sit down for 25 minutes or 50 minutes, just focus, completely focus, and then just for 5 or 10 minutes, just go out for a random walk. Think about the problem. It's not that you don't have to think about the problem, but just that don't put too much load in your brain and just think about the problem here and there, and then you come back again, sit down, and then you focus for the next 15 minutes and you rest for 10 minutes and you can go on. The second habit is inactivity towards body exercise. The frantic pace of technology has shrunk time for most ordinary people. Developers are no exception to this trend. They may find myriad reasons to sit idle rather than exercise. Too much neglect can be disastrous for the brain health. I agree on this because we developers tend to sit down for long coding hours, forgetting that we have to move and we have to do some kind of physical exercise, right? So, say for example, you code for like 6 hours straight, and then you come home and then you're exhausted, and then you again take out your phone, you scroll Instagram, YouTube, and then you again go to sleep. So we neglect the body exercise, right? Body exercise is very important. If we have to live longer, we need to make sure that we locomote very often. So an inactive lifestyle can cause a person to suffer from poor blood flow, dull thinking, and increased vulnerability to the onset of mood disorders. For a developer, thinking ability is very important, right? So what are we going to gain by dulling that ability? And I don't think, you have to be inactive as a developer. In fact, you should be very active as a developer. Just, walk around, exercise, play games, and keep your health up to the mark. So what's the recipe for this? Developers should make efforts to introduce activity into their lifestyle, however slight it may be. So it's just that every like 1 hour, you can just take a small walk. You can, fetch water and drink that. You can just have a small glass of water, drink that, and then after like 1.5 hours, go and fetch again and drink the water again. And evening, you can join a good gym and you can go and work out, or you can just play some games. There are a ton of ways in which you can maintain your physical health. And doing exercise also leads to the secretion of these chemicals called dopamine and serotonin, which makes you feel good, right? So as developers, we should promise to exercise very often, to be active, physically active very often. And the third one is neglecting mental stimulation, right? However, the tech industry can trap developers into learning only what is required. Continuous learning is important for professional growth. As if daily activity is ample to keep the mind stimulating, quite several developers leave out this form of focus, and various risks will arise from cognitive stagnation. The brain loves novelty and challenge. This happens, right? So we should not, it's not only related to software development, it's related to all other jobs. We should not stick to only the job that we are doing. We need to explore other areas as well, at least other related areas to the job we are doing. We need to constantly challenge our brain and constantly push ourselves to achieve something that slightly, it seems kind of unachievable, slightly unachievable, but achieving those tasks will really help in improving the brain health. And also it makes us feel good when we achieve something better, right? So we need to make sure that we engage in other activities. We learn new stuff that are not related to our domain. And say, for example, you can learn a new skill, right? You can learn a new language. You can learn a new skill like singing. You can learn a new skill like dancing. Or if you work on, say, if you work on a specific tech stack, you can just explore a different tech stack. So that way you can keep your brain, you can push your brain to achieve great things, and then you can challenge yourself in achieving those things. And the fourth one is neglecting social connections. This is very important. So as software developers, we tend to spend most of our time alone, right? We code alone and we think alone. And because we are so much productive when we are alone, right? But as humans, we are quite social, right? We are social beings. So we need to make sure that we talk to our friends, talk to our family members, and spend some time alone, but make sure that we spend time with the people, right? Because that will greatly help us improving our mental health. Might be you might have had a bad day, right? Might be you're stressed about something, but talking to that one friend or that one family member is going to just change the game. It's going to make you feel so good. It's going to give you some solutions that you have never come up with, and it's going to make you feel more relaxed and take on the next challenge with grace, right? And so as developers, we need to be social. Just, work while you work and play while you play, and just have that work time, family time, friends time, work while you work, right? So I had this one colleague in my company. He just clocks in at 10 a.m. exactly and clocks out at 5 p.m. But within that time frame, he just 10 times the work. But after that, he just disappears from work, right? You just have to have your personal time, your work time, and then it's basically time management, right? You need to really master the art of time management. I hope after going through this blog, we improvise on these habits and live and work healthy. After all, what are we working for? What are we earning for? To live a life that we want, right? In order to live a life that we want, we need to stay healthy. And that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.